Angry Bears fan podcast. Like, follow, subscribe. We're a little stagnation on the subscribers. Need some new faces. So share. Like I said, keep commenting. Help us with the algorithm. But another big Bears victory. Four in a row. 4-2 Bears. We were in this position last year, but
Yeah, we were 4-2 last year
yes,
too.
I think we all feel a lot better about our position going forward. I don't perceive we'll have a meltdown like we did last year. But like I said, Big Bears win over the Saints, much needed. Wasn't a perfect game by all means, but a game we had to win. We couldn't lose our momentum. We couldn't have a letdown against a team that we were favored over.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it right on the head. 26-14. A win's a win in this league. You know what I'm saying? So I'll take it. 4-2. We were 4-2 last year, but like you were saying, different vibes from this 4-2 team. Um, I feel confident that we're not going to lose 10 games in a row. Um, Even if you know what I'm saying, it just this coaching staff and everything else like that just feels completely different. I'm gonna run down some stats real quick, and then we'll get into the goods and the bads of this game. So as I said, 26-14 Bears dub. That's four in a row. First time since the 2018 season that we've had four wins in a row. Caleb Williams, 15 to 26, good for 57%, 172 yards, zero touchdowns, one pick, an ugly pick, by the way. Um,
Terrible.
DeAndre Swift, 19 carries, 124 yards, good for 6.5 yards clip, one touchdown. He also added one catch for 14 yards. Kyle Manungai made an appearance. 13 carries, 81 yards, good for 6.2 yards a carry with a touchdown. He also added two catches for 13 yards. And to finish up things on the offensive side of the ball, special teams, Jake Moody, 4 for 4 field goals, kicking for the first time in Soldier Field. That was really good for him. On the defensive side, our linebackers really showed up. Edmonds and Edwards. Edmonds had 9 tackles, one tackle for loss, one sack, one interception. Edwards had 7 total tackles, one tackle for loss. Brisker and Gordon each had a sack each. And Montez Sweat got on the stat sheet with a strip sack and a forced fumble. So that's some of the stats from this game. Sean, you started last week. I'm going to start this week with the good, if you don't mind. For me, defense as a whole, with the exception of those two drives, the drive right before the half, as well as the drive, the first drive in the second half, they had 4 takeaways, 4 sacks. They were consistently getting takeaways. I take from it that Dennis Allen, yeah, it was a revenge game for him, but he has these boys ready to play every single week since the Detroit game. And I don't think it's just him. I think Al Harris has a lot to do with it as well. He's going to get a defensive coordinator job next year somewhere. But the defense as a whole, really good. Tremaine Edmonds, we were bagging on him. He had a couple of bad games back to back when Edwards was out. But since TJ Edwards has been in the lineup and they moved him from the middle linebacker to the will linebacker, Edmonds has been balling his ass off.
Yeah.
He's been all over the field. I feel like that's probably the better position for him to be in right now, just because Edwards just seems like a better, Mike linebacker, and Edmonds is kind of cleaning stuff up. He's got really good instincts.
Yeah.
Um, Offensive line, one sack given up, and that was all on Caleb. The sack that they gave up. As a whole, they did okay. Um, I'll save the bad about Drew Dahlman. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to save that for the bad section just because that was I didn't like seeing that. But overall, again, back-to-back games, run game dominance. Not a whole lot of pressures that were their fault, at least. There was a couple of quarterback hurries on some blitzes and stuff like that. But again, averaging over 6 yards a clip, ground game was extremely dominant. And my last good, actually, I got a couple more. The run defense, 44 yards total given up. That's huge, huge for the Bears defense. Special teams, I mentioned Moody 4 for 4 on the field goals, and even Torrey Taylor's pitching in. He's not out kicking his coverage anymore. So he's pinned a couple of opponents inside the 10-yard line. And then last but not least, coaching. And I said it with Dennis Allen. I'm going to say it with Al Harris. I'm going to say it with Ben Johnson. Coaching overall in this game was phenomenal. A little bit of time management towards the end of the first half, but that's okay. I'm going to let it slide because overall, this coaching staff did a fantastic job. Um, but yeah, those are my goods.
Most of them I guess would be the same defense. It can just it's you one or two games you could say it's lucky, but Ben Johnson even said it in the thing where you say, "Oh, these lucky turnovers, you don't get lucky." It's playing fast, confusing people, pressure, all that shit combined. Creates turnovers. It might seem like lucky in the moment or somebody dropped the ball or whatever, but you got to be ready to fall on them when that does happen. People throw interceptions to people all the time. You're not ready. Balls fall on the ground all the time. You don't get them. So we're definitely capitalizing on all that, and we're undermanned in the secondary. Kyler Gordon being back and Brisker and and everybody being healthy, that helps a ton. Like you said, 4 sacks, three of them, one by linebacker, two by DBs, only one by one of our defensive linemen. Getting very creative and lots of. I mean, Brisker should have had two. He got another rough in the passer penalty. Gordon almost got there a couple times before that. They were all over the place. I'm liking the exotic blitzes that Dennis Allen is showing. Obviously, they're working. Um, uh, but yeah, I agree. In the 2 minute, we got to figure something out because I don't know. I think he was continuing to do that, but they were just killing us right over the middle of the field. You kind of got to take your foot off the gas and know when to do it, when not to do it.
Dominique Robinson even showed up.
Yeah,
He
he
had a
played good
couple.
last week too. The week
Yeah, he had a
before.
couple of pressures, and I think this goes into coaching. Um, Dennis Allen just maybe he's unlocked something in Robinson. He's kind of figured out how to use them, which is why I'm waiting to see what happens with Austin Booker and a couple of these other guys because even Dexter's having another pretty good year. I mean, he had a solid first half of last year and then kind of fell off as the season went on, but he's having another strong half a season so far this year. They brought in Shamar Turner, still playing edge. He played okay. Their run defense is really good right now because of the different adjustments that they're making. And as long as they can continue that going forward with the exotic blitzes, I think we'll be okay, causing turnovers and stuff like that. That's not to say I don't want them to go out there and get an edge or anything else like that. I'm just saying that if no moves are made, I wasn't counting on the Bears winning the Super Bowl this year anyway. But if no moves are out there to be made and they don't go out there and get an edge or anything else like that, I'm not worried about the defense going forward because I know Dennis Allen and these coaches are going to coach these boys up and get the most out of the talent that they have on their roster.
Yeah, like you said, the coaching is definitely apparent. That had the makings of a game that in the past we would lose. We were the favorite. We came out stagnant, and we would have found a way to lose that game. But I think defense stepped up. Dennis Allen called hell of a game. Defense made plays when we need them, and the offense eventually capitalized when we need to do it. And they got the run game going, and that's at least when you got the run game going, we're keeping the defense off the field, get at least a first down every drive. We're not going 3 and out and things like that.
Yeah, if one part you're not a one-dimensional offense. I know, the besides the last couple of games before the bye week, the offense was being carried by the passing game, Caleb Williams' arm, stuff like that were keeping them in games, even with no run game, the run game being stagnant. Now, since after the bye, that's like the complete polar opposite. The Bears are relying heavily on the ground game, and it's become reminiscent of 2018. I'm not saying the Bears defense is 2018-esque because that talent on that defense is we don't have a Khalil Mack. We don't have an Akeem Hicks. We don't have, I mean, Eddie Jackson and Kevin Byard are kind of the same, except Eddie Jackson was returning them for touchdowns, that ball hawking safety. We have Prince of Makamura, Fuller, you know what I'm saying? We don't have those guys, but it's reminiscent of 2018 right now because the defense is creating all these turnovers and we're having inconsistent quarterback play with a good running game. And you know what I'm saying? There's talent, but it's just not being utilized. Like there's still questions at the quarterback position, which is why I say it's kind of reminiscent of 2018 right now. But we have what we didn't have in 2018, which I feel, Matt Nagy is going to get another chance. He's already on the short list to be Tennessee's next head coach. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get another shot.
I mean, if Andy Reid retires, who gets the job?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's either hey, he's gonna get the Kansas City job or he's gonna get the Tennessee job. Matt Nagy will be a head coach somewhere,
Oh yeah.
but
I
my
mean, I
thing
don't think
is,
he did a terrible job with us. I think that he didn't. He wasn't the quarterback whisperer he claimed to be. Or you know
yeah,
what I mean? That's what it
he drew
was.
the
I think
short he drew the short end of the straw, and we have somebody in Ben Johnson that I feel just takes. I mean, you see, he's a psychopath on the side. Like he was no emotion whatsoever on the sideline during some of the biggest plays of the game. Um, it's a completely different vibe on the sideline. And that's where that confidence comes in, where I don't feel like this team's gonna crumble. Now I'm not saying there's a kicker controversy or anything else like that, but Moody, he's 8 of 9 for field goals for the Bears, both in inclement weather. It's not like it's been sunshine and rainbows for him. He's kicked outdoors at Washington as well as outdoors at Soldier Field, and Soldier Field when it was windy. It's not the easiest place to kick, and he was 4 for 4 on field goals. And he's got a little bit of a bigger leg than Cairo Santos, and he's like 7 or 8 years younger than Cairo Santos. So I'll be interested to see if they keep him on the roster for this year, just in case Cairo doesn't, maybe he goes back to the practice squad. Maybe somebody
it'll be
scoops
tough
back.
to keep
I don't
him
know.
because yeah, somebody's going to scoop him.
I hope they do. This game showed me a lot. You were saying it's back-to-back games, and I said last week that I have to see games strung together before I issue an apology to DeAndre Swift. I'm halfway there. I'm 2/3 of the way there. If he could give me one more game against Baltimore where he's, showing vision and hitting the holes and everything else like that, I will come on the
He was
podcast
make
next week.
doing a lot of things we talked about too, where it's just like you saw he was realizing the play was over. You would see it in his face, or he'd stop and then be like, "All right, this play's dead," and he would find a lineman's legs to dive in between and
And
fall
get that
forward for
extra
2 or 3 yards. Like that's what we need because Monunga had a great game too. He gets the ball, and he's low and he's fast, and it's like we need that thunder and lightning what they have with Gibbs and Dave Montgomery. You need that to keep because you just set up the play action to just
You keep them fresh. You
yes
keep the running backs
stay
fresh
in
too.
front stay in front of the sticks and just make the game easy. We were our problem last year was like we couldn't string drives together. We couldn't get first downs. We could run the ball, but it was here and then, but it wasn't a control thing. We controlled that game, and that's the thing that good teams do. We were playing bad, and we were still in control the entire game, and that's the type of things that you could see, like I said, with coaching and Ben Johnson. That's like even when it's not working, we're still in control. We're still playing. Like we're getting a field goal here, we're getting a field goal there. It's not a disaster. It's just like Caleb could get his act together because I was on Ben Johnson and they can get on the same page, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with because we're still the only team in the league who scored 21 or more each game. I think we are number one in big play, like
Explosive plays.
explosive plays.
Yep.
So there's a lot of good. It's not to bag on Caleb. It's just like he gets it together, and it's not even. We don't need like. I'm not even saying we need you to go to Mahomes level. We just need you to get more in the top 10, 15 level, and then we're going to be one of the best teams in the league if you can. You know what I mean? You're throwing 2 touchdowns a game.
Yeah, that kind of segues into what I have starting off with the bad. And you have to start with Caleb Williams. I mean, I'm wearing his jersey tonight. Maybe, I'm hoping a little bit of good luck will rub off on him, give him some good juju. But again, the inaccuracies are showing up, man. 15 to 26, good for 57%. Through a really bad pick. He's playing too much hero ball. He's not taking what the defense is giving him. He's not, I know we were kind of egging on him about not taking risks and stuff like that down the field, but now he's looking too much to it. He's
Yeah.
not running the ball when he should be running the ball when he's escaping the pocket. He's looking to hit the home run ball every single time, and you just can't do that. You're missing
Yes.
easy check down throws. You're missing 6, 7 yard scrambles. He needs to be doing that. That was my number one bad for this week because that's now 2 games in a row where Caleb Williams just has not been very consistent. He hasn't been very good. And you take a look at a guy, and I will say this, and this is the hill I will die on. You take a look at what Drake May is doing right now in New England. He's amazing. He looks amazing. And it's shitty to see because now not only is Caleb and Jaden Daniels going to be, connected at the hip for all of eternity for the rest of their careers, but if Drake May continues on this level of ascension that he's on, Drake May is going to be in that conversation as well. And does this, I'm not saying it is because Caleb, he's still got some room to grow, but I don't want to be rehashing this conversation 6 years down the road where people are like, oh, hey, remember when you guys passed on Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, and then 6 years later you passed on Jaden Daniels and Drake May? Like, I don't want to have that conversation again. And if the inconsistencies are still there and it doesn't click, then we will be rehashing this conversation years down the line. Now, the one thing I will say is that Ben Johnson has said himself that this offense is very complex. It's a lot more complex than what he had Jared Goff doing in Detroit. If you take a look at Jared Goff's numbers through his first 7, 8 games with Ben Johnson, it's eerily similar to what Caleb Williams' numbers are right now in his first 7 games with Ben Johnson. Around 55% completion. Caleb's got a better touchdown to interception ratio than Jared Goff did, as well as a better win-loss ratio. But in terms of statistical numbers, completion percentage, everything else like that, it's about the same. My second one was it was a rough outing for Tyreek Stevenson on Sunday. Chris Olave is a good wide receiver, but Tyreek Stevenson got torched by Chris Olave that last drive before the first half, and then that first drive of the second half. That's back-to-back weeks now. He's been burnt on double moves. I'm not going to put too much blame on him because there's really nobody else at that corner position. I mean, I know Deshaun Wright had an okay game, but Tyreek, I made my apology to you. I've gotten accustomed to you being a lockdown corner since Jalen Johnson isn't in the lineup, and you kind of let me down a little bit. It was not a good game for him on Sunday. I'll give him a pass, but overall, it was not.
I would have to watch the whole thing, but some of those passes, like the deep one, the first one, be right before half. Like I think I would more lean that to the coverage. Like it's tough for anybody, even the best corner in the league, to guard somebody running a deep like post or whatever. You know what I mean? He came from the right side of the field, 50 yards to the left, no help over the top. The blitz didn't get there. Like Chris, a number one wide receiver in the NFL. That's just how the cookie crumbles. So I don't know if I would like. Obviously, that's a loss, but it's just like if it's a good throw, it's like no, it's tough to stop any wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, I get that. One per game is fine, but he got burnt on a couple on Sunday. It wasn't just one.
Yeah.
It was a couple that he got burnt on, and that's what I'm saying. I'll give him a pass for one. Everybody's allowed one per game, so I get that.
I think Olave is good. So sometimes,
I'm
some
not
of the good guys cook you. It's like whatever.
I understand, but at the same time, we've grown a little. Now the expectations are going up a little bit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I mean, again, I told you at the beginning, I wasn't ready to throw. I thought Tyreek Stevenson was fine. I know he had a little funk on him from the Hail Mary, but I always thought I just thought like we weren't going to get anything better. I don't think anything we got in the wings is anything close to being better than him, right? Or any of those guys aren't even close to being as good as him. It would really be, if we had Jalen Johnson right now, we'd be in really good shape. Hopefully he comes back and he's healthy and ready to help us make a playoff push.
I've got some stuff later on too.
But I'll say to piggyback what you said, yes, Caleb inaccuracy, just stuff we don't want to see, like just holding the ball too long. He's still on pace to throw for 4,000 yards, but just not throwing the shit to the flats, not running the ball, like you were saying, hero ball. What is he, 5 times in the game where he was just like backpedaling and running all like it was fucking Madden, running all the way to the sideline to the last second and throwing it, you know what I mean, chucking it down the field, and you know what I mean, it was out of bounds. Like, what do you do? Like, that doesn't work.
Caleb is good for one or two of those fuck it balls.
Oh, I know, I wouldn't lie. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't expecting something magical to happen when he's doing it. But at the end of the day, we watch football all the time, and the guys who are doing that are the guys who are winning games. Like, that's just what it is. Like, Mahomes does it once a game, and it's cool. But it's like most of the game, he runs for a lot of first downs. Easy first downs. He's throwing, dinking, and dunking, and letting people run and get yards after catch. Like, that's what you do. That's the good quarterback. Get these playmakers. We got a lot of them. Give them the ball. Let them go. Like, you don't need to be holding on to the ball for 5 seconds. If that's the play they set up, you run a play action, you're trying to set somebody up for a deep shot. I understand, but the rest of the stuff, people are running open in the flats real quick. We'll get them the ball, let them take hits, let them make plays. And I think Caleb sometimes like he wants to be the playmaker.
Well, speaking of which, Roma Dunze needs to start coming down with some contested catches. Um, that was another letdown spot for me. Big third down, hit him in the hands. Yeah, he got hit, but you know what? We talked about this before. It's like he makes the ridiculously hard catches look easy, and he comes down with them. But then those easy ones where you're like any other number one wide receiver in the NFL makes that catch, he doesn't come down with the catch. I don't know if he's got to get stronger at the point of attack, in terms of, catching the ball, but another big drop in a big spot. And, it's just, that's got to get cleaned up. I saw that again. And I just, at that point, I just shook my head. I was like, dude, you got to catch that fucking ball. It's easy for me to say that sitting on my couch watching the TV, you know what I'm saying? But you're getting paid to be that guy.
I mean, he would say it. I'm sure when he watched it after the game, I'm sure that's exactly what he said to himself. I got to catch that fucking ball. So I mean, sometimes it is a little silly us critiquing them guys, but I think when certain things like you said, where it's like you're not saying anything that I'm 100% positive he didn't say to himself when he saw the replay or when he went onto the sideline or whatever coach told him as soon as they rewatched the film together. Yes, he does need to be better. He's our number one now. We're clearly transitioning to that. But Caleb, I don't know if it's Ben Johnson or whatever, but we need to do a better job of getting all these guys the ball. We got all these targets, getting the ball close to level, got a couple catches. He looked good out there. I want to see him play more. Like, I think he's good. I think he can be the Sam Laporta role. And when the running game's going like this, we can run a lot more play action, and it's really going to be guys are really going to be running open.
Well, we might be seeing a little bit more of him because Cole Kmet's a little banged up. So we'll see what happens. But speaking of Colston Loveland, another bad one that I had was penalties. I know we had two horrible calls. Again, the offensive pass interference against Colston Loveland was not offensive pass interference. I don't understand that call first and foremost, and then that roughing the passer on 3rd and 28. You can't make that call.
No, not unless it's blatant. Like, and he like hit his arm first. Like, come on now. Like you said, maybe on 3rd and 5. Like maybe. But 3rd and 28, like, come on, you cannot bail them out in the game like that when it wasn't blatant. Like, I understand we don't want these guys getting hurt and all that stuff, but it's like at some point, like, we're playing football still.
That same drive was a touchdown drive. You know what I'm saying? And it's very frustrating when that happens. And I know we had those two bad calls, but we also, we stacked a total of 10 penalties that game. So we still had 8 penalties that were called against us that weren't those 2 other calls. So we're 3rd in the league right now with penalties. And realistically, they said it on the broadcast, you know what I'm saying, where they were talking about John Madden always used to say if you had 100 penalty yards, that's pretty much 7 points that you've given up. And the Bears consistently are at that 10 penalty, 100 yards per penalty, you know what I'm saying? So that's taking 7 points off the board.
And if you think about it, and we're one of the best scoring teams, the only team who scored 21 each game, it's like, on top of that, it's like we should be scoring 28 a fucking game.
Yes.
There's so many drive-killing penalties, that like untimely sacks. And I think that's a little on Ben Johnson, but it's a lot on Caleb. It's a lot of them are like pre-snap shit. Like I said, bad sacks, and like these are drive killers, and like we do have to get that. We've been patting Ben Johnson on the back and the coaching staff, but they need to get that under control because
100%.
That is really hindering our progress.
I have that in my notes too. Is that we are preaching, we're talking up the coaching and everything else like that, but penalties, realistically, in terms of discipline, that's a coaching thing. Either fix it or get them off the field. You know what I'm saying? And then the last thing was the center exchanges. Now Drew Dahlman did take blame, saying that he was messing up the cadence, or he was getting mixing up the cadence, or whatever the case may be. That's got to get fixed, because that now is multiple games where the center quarterback exchange is not on the same page. Some of the snaps are not good. He double clutched a couple which the first time that happened, that should have been a false start instead of they allowed the play to go. You know what I'm saying? He never exchanged. That should have been a false start. The second time it happened, they called the false start that time and it allowed the Bears to get 3 points. But that can't happen. I can't recall ever watching football, and I've been watching it since I was a wee youngin. I can't recall ever seeing multiple weeks in a row where a quarterback center exchange was that bad.
I
Um,
can't think of one now that you said that where that happened, where like it
yeah,
fell
I can't.
down. Like that
I
was
can't think of it.
craziness. Um, I know Ben Johnson likes to play aggressive, and I don't know if it was Dan Campbell or Ben Johnson who were doing it, but I think at this point to prove a point to the team and to show them that he's kind of lost faith in them, I think we need to just start kicking some of these fourth downs. We're going too many times where it's like we're not an established offense, and I know we won the game by 2 scores, but against better teams, we can't like it's a huge momentum swing to fucking flop in the red zone on fourth down, literally falling flat on your ass, and it's like on that just cannot happen on fourth down. Like how does
No,
that happen on any down? But let alone that, it's like what is it like? That's the type of stuff where it's like that. I know it's just one play, but you're like, we're not winning the Super Bowl. That's the type of thing you see. You're like, we're not a Super Bowl winning team. Like that will never happen to Tom Brady, like or
no.
his center. Like so, and I know it's a silly thing, and it's just one play or whatever. But that's the type of stuff where like we're not going to be a serious team and an elite team if we're allowing shit like this to happen. Again, too many penalties. We've got a lot of good signs, a lot of turnovers and things like that. But the reason we're only 4-2 and we lead in a lot of categories when I think we're number one in takeaways now. I don't know how many Jacksonville got, but
We are number one in
so it's
takeaways.
like normally the team with the most takeaways would be looked at as one of the better teams in the league, and I mean everybody's waiting for us to turn back into a pumpkin. So
Absolutely.
yeah, the coaching, like I said, we've been hyping them up all year long, even if there were the losses. But that is one thing we need to get under control. The penalties are just, I don't know what it is, but we need to figure it out because that's really killing us.
No, I agree
And we
100%.
have no room for error like that. If we want to, we got to play the Lions again. We got to play the Packers twice.
Got to play
We're gonna have
Minnesota.
Baltimore with Lamar coming back. Like we're not gonna beat these good teams. We get 10 penalties. We're getting 8 penalties. Like that, we're gonna lose every time. Like and outside of the other reasons they're better than us, we can't beat ourselves like that.
Before we move on to this week 8 preview against Baltimore coming up, who was your player of the game this week?
For the Bears,
Yep.
I would say I'm gonna go with DeAndre Swift again. I thought he played really good again. They got him the ball. He just looked like electric. And he has been. I know the Saints aren't the best team, but they usually come out and put a good effort out defensively. They got a good D line. They got Demario Davis, who's I mean, I don't know if Hall of Famer. He's just a lifeline, borderline Hall of Famer, definitely New
He's an
Orleans.
ageless wonder, man.
Yes, he's great player who's played a lot of years, many Pro Bowls, excellent player. They play good run defense, and he's just looked a lot better. Where I was ready to like trade for somebody, and now I'm kind of fine with what we got going on with the running back thing. Obviously, if you get somebody really good like an 18, how we've been, crossing our fingers for. But really, there's nobody else to go get. I'm really kind of comfortable with what we got now. It seems like we've gotten to in a flow, seeing what type of runs they like to do and things like that. But I think Swift has really stepped up, or because I think he felt the hot seat because the holes were there, all the stats were there, and he just wasn't breaking tackles. But like I said earlier, he really it really left out to me how he was making it a point to make sure he was falling forward for extra yard or two on every run when it was over.
Yeah, my I'll give it to the other running back, just because, he finally showed up, kind of like a welcome to the NFL moment for Kyle Monangai, gets his first NFL touchdown. Um, Still over 6 yards a carry. Really good in pass pro too. He picked up a couple of blitzes that was really impressive for me because I know Swift is a little bit of a smaller back. And watching Alvin Kamara get blown up by
Brisker.
Jaquan Brisker and, stuff like that. It was good to see Kyle Monangai step in, very heavy on the pass pro, get his first NFL touchdown. You know what I'm saying? He did really well. So for me, that was my player of the game. You know me, I liked Kyle Monangai a little bit coming out. But we said we needed to show, or we needed to see a little bit more explosiveness. going to the hole. He really stepped up in that regard. He
Yes,
was
he
really
does.
hitting the
When he
hole,
gets the ball, yeah, he
hard.
runs low and
Once
fast.
he gets that ball, he's hitting it. You know what I'm saying? So that was good to see. Um, you brought up Lamar Jackson coming back week 8, Baltimore. Lamar did not practice yesterday. He still right now carries an out designation. So he may or may not play. I didn't see the practice report today. I think
NFL's
today's
pretty
an off
strict
day.
on that too.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it's an off day
yeah.
today for practice. So I don't think Baltimore or Chicago practiced. Um, I think tomorrow, really, we'll kind of see if Lamar does practice or not. But with or without Lamar, um, you know, we don't want this game to fall into the same category as the Saints game, where this is a kind of like a gotcha spot. You know what I'm saying? Because if
And
Lamar
they
doesn't
need the
play, they're
win.
gonna
The Saints don't need it.
yeah,
The Ravens have to win this game.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, and whether it be Cooper Rush or whether it be Snoop Huntley, um, whoever takes quarterback for Baltimore, they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. And let's not forget, they still got Zay Flowers, they still got
Derrick
Derrick
Henry,
Henry. You know what I'm saying?
Mark
They're
Andrews,
yeah, Mark
Roquan's
Andrews.
coming home.
They
Roquan will
they've
be
got
there.
players on offense. You know what I'm saying? We can't just sit back and be a little lackadaisical. They do have the worst scoring defense in the NFL right now, with or without Roquan. They still have the worst scoring defense in the NFL. They give up on average 32 points a game and 380 total yards a game. So I feel like if any game is going to be Caleb, you need to, take the checkdowns. Let's take the easy wins. Let's get you kind of into a rhythm going into Cincinnati. I think this is a get right game for Caleb Williams. He needs to show up and he needs to show out and show that he can run this offense effectively. And let's play that complementary football. We were talking about complementary isn't just offense on terms with the defense. It's also running game on par with the passing game. And right now the running game is on par. So the passing game needs to match or exceed that running game. And I feel like this game has the potential to be that if Caleb Williams can just take the easy wins. Well, let me get your thoughts on this game. I mean, I know you kind of, brought it out a little bit, but with or without Lamar, I want Lamar to play because I want to measure where we are as a team.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
I think it's a good
So
measuring stick game. This is a good team. The Saints aren't. I mean, even with Cooper Rush or whoever at quarterback, it's still the Ravens. They're one of the better organizations. They're going to come out ready to play. They got a very defense we can pick on, and I don't think it's a must-win game like I thought the Redskins was one, but it's just a good game. I mean, everyone we stack up, it's just one more we don't have to win. Like we got a tough schedule coming up. We catch them without Lamar, we gotta have it. Even with Lamar,
absolutely.
we could go touchdown for touchdown with him. Lamar has shown cracks in his armor. He's just sat out as well. Um, and we've been opportunistic and keep doing what we're doing. I think we'll be just fine running the ball. And Caleb and Rome and all these guys need to get it together on third down and like you said, a measuring stick game against a good team that could, you know what I mean, without if Lamar didn't get hurt, probably be one of the Super Bowl favorites. Um, and yeah, just again, I wanted Cincinnati doesn't seem as easy as we thought it was going to be 2 or 3 weeks ago. Maybe Joe Flacco will turn into a pumpkin, but he usually plays pretty good against us. Uh,
Joe fucking
so
Flacco. I know we're a week away from that still, but I mean, who would have thought that Cincinnati's game plan to winning a football game would just be throw the ball to fucking Jamar Chase, just fucking feed him. Like it
yeah, so
seems
like I
simple.
said, that game doesn't look as easy as we thought it was going to be. So we still got to play Pittsburgh, and that's Aaron Rodgers. I know Pittsburgh isn't the best either, but Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean. He feels like he owns us, and
He does still,
it's hard to
until
say
proven
anything
otherwise.
otherwise. I was actually thinking I want to look this up. Is there another quarterback who's got more wins against a single team than Aaron Rodgers has against the Bears?
I
Like
don't think so.
Tom Brady
Maybe
against the
Tom Brady
Dolphins, or like
against
the Dolphins or Jets or something like. But
something.
even then, like they would win sometimes. Like Aaron Rodgers literally shit on us for fucking 12 years. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of tough games coming up. We gotta have them. So even if it's a banged up Lamar, we're coming off injury, maybe when he's not even ready, or the Cooper Rush led Ravens or Tyron Huntley led Ravens, we gotta have it. I want to see another 21 points. I want to see a couple turnovers. Like I said, loving the blitzes, keep them coming. I think the days of the dink and dunk hope the 4-man rush gets there are kind of done. You got to be exotic unless you got the horses to go do that, and we don't. And we're not even close. So you got to be creative, and I think Dennis Allen has been in his bag the last few weeks, showing when Gordon coming back and Britzker mixing it in there. They're both excellent blitzers. So is Tremaine Edmonds. They get in there. It's been fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And not the same like lockdown defenses we're used to, but very still fun. And we just want the turnovers and keeping the score low. I don't really, it doesn't have to be locked down or shut down or whatever you want to call it, but it's been fun to watch. And Dennis Allen is really, we were kind of skeptic the first couple of weeks, but it seems like when everybody's getting healthy and everybody's back, this is going to be interesting.
Just keep them under 21. That's the magic number, right? For me, it's another road game. That I want Ben Johnson and this team to continue to stack road wins because over the last 3 years under Matt Eberflus, we have not had a whole lot of road wins. And this would match the career total of Matt Eberflus in terms of road wins in those 3 years that he had in Ben Johnson's first 4 road games, winning 3 out of his first 4. Like, it's crazy. So I want to see them clean up those penalties, stuff like that. But definitely, it's another game on the road. Like you said, it's not if they lose the game. Let me put it this way: if Lamar plays and they lose the game, not a big deal. If Lamar doesn't play and they lose the game, then we have a problem. But speaking of which, give me your keys to the game. What's going to lead the Bears to a victory over the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday?
I know we were saying that this could be a game where Caleb can get right, but it's definitely going to be the run game. Well, if we can get over 120, 130 yards again, not turn it over more than one time, I think we'll be just fine. I think the defense is good. I think even with a healthy Lamar, I think we should still be get a turnover too, and then just keep it close and play smart, and we can measure ourselves against a Super Bowl contender, or we'll beat down on a team without their quarterback.
Yeah, I've got a few. My number one thing is with or without Lamar, you got to stop the run. Let's continue to build on what we've been building on, especially last week, only allowing 44 yards on the ground against the Saints. Derrick Henry is not Alvin Kamara. He will not go down, with 1 or 2 guys on. It's going to take group team tackling to stop Derrick Henry. So stop the run with or without Lamar. For the second key I have is if Lamar doesn't play, let's not allow Tyler Huntley or Cooper Rush to find any kind of rhythm. I know this is a different Bears team, but in years prior, the Bears defense has had this knack of letting backup quarterbacks come in and look like fucking Tom Brady. Even Tyler Huntley a couple of years ago because Lamar's never played against the Bears. Even Tyler Huntley a couple of years ago when he was filling in for Lamar played really well against this Bears defense and ended up winning. I know it's a different team, but again, let's not let them get comfortable. Let's, keep those exotic blitzes up. Let's make them uncomfortable in the pocket. Let's make sure that, we keep that pressure on. My third key for this game is Caleb, I love you, but it's time to put away the Superman cape until you absolutely need it. Let's look for the easy throws. Let's not run around, like a chicken with our head cut off for 5 to 7 seconds, run to the sideline, get popped, throw a bad pick, something like that. If it's not there, run it or throw it away. Simple as that. Let's keep it simple. And my number 4, like you were saying, with the run game, let's keep feeding the 2-headed monster. Let's build that Sonic and Knuckles that Detroit had with David Montgomery and, Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's keep feeding the ball to DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. I'm not saying because, combined they had over 30 carries. I'm not saying you got to, split the share like that, but, 16 to 18 carries for Swift and, 10 carries for Monangai. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that. Let's keep feeding the 2-headed monster there. Let's make sure that the run game stays on track because a good run game, as we know as fans of the Chicago Bears, a good run game will do a lot of good things for you as a team. It allows you to control the clock. We've had a history of having good running backs and good running games, and we've done pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not lately, but let's continue to feed the run game. And for once, as much as Rome has been our number one, we're still paying DJ Moore $27.5 million. So let's get DJ Moore. Let's make the pass game run through DJ Moore this week. It just seems like good things happen when he touches the ball. I feel like the team really rallies around DJ whenever he's breaking tackles and taking 2 yard catches and turning them into 12 yard gains because he's running through motherfuckers and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's get that passing game going through DJ Moore a little bit. I feel like he needs a little bit more. You can't be paying a guy $27.5 million to have as little effect on the game as he's been having. So that's for me. Do you have any more keys to the game?
No, like so, I just think the run game we fine. I think the defense keeps doing what they're doing. The run game, we really have to make sure we keep fanning those flames and don't let that smolder out. And I know there's a big push. I mean, all be from us, from the media, from everybody. We all want to see Caleb turn into the next star. So, but I'm more focused on making the playoffs and winning games. And if like we just saw, we played a bad game. Caleb had a bad game, but we ran the ball, played solid defense. We still got the W by 2 scores. There's more than like I've been saying. Even though Justin Fields has made me look more and more like an idiot, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and you don't have to have the best quarterback in the league or a top 5 quarterback in the league to be a competitive team. We can win with defense and good coaching and a run game and timely quarterback play.
All right, I got a little week 7 fact cap overreactions if you're ready.
Yeah.
All right, number one, we'll start from last night. CJ Stroud's rookie year was a fluke.
I mean, I've never been a big CJ Stroud fan. I mean, he was Ohio State. It seems to be. I mean, I know they've got a lot of injuries and he lost his left tackle. But yeah, I guess I'm assuming teams have seen something on tape and they know how to take away what he likes to do. And maybe he was a one-trick pony. I don't know, but he looks definitely like he's taken a few steps back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with CJ Stroud. I don't know what happened with Nico Collins. I don't know what happened with that entire Texans offense, but it's absolute trash right now. Number two, the Minnesota Vikings made a mistake by letting Sam Darnold walk.
I guess hindsight's 2020. I say yes, but I think we all knew why they did. Like JJ McCarthy is a similar talent prospect wise. He was probably thinking I could get the same thing out of him, but Sam Darnold's a veteran. He's been through a lot. I was reading an article about him. He said the NFL has humbled him. He's been through the worst. He's been on a bunch of different teams. And he's seen it all. He's done it all, and it seems to he's finally got it together. And yeah, it does look like Minnesota kind of slowed down a lot of their motion. I think they let the last couple games get to him where Sam Darnold didn't play well. But and remember, I mean, as veteran as he was, his first time in the postseason as well. So, and playing in meaningful games that late in the season, I mean, he was at the end of an MVP season. Like he didn't win it, but he statistically, there's been MVPs with worse years than him. So, yeah, I do think they made a mistake. I understand why they did it, and if I was being honest, I think we all still do the same thing. But with hindsight and knowing how it's all played out, clearly they made a mistake.
Well, it looks like the clock's kind of striking midnight on Minnesota. I mean, it seems like there's a soft benching going on with JJ McCarthy because, maybe he's not ready. Maybe they're like, fuck, yeah, we kind of rushed this a little bit. He probably should have taken the Aaron Rodgers route of getting, ready and sitting for a couple of years as opposed to just sitting 1 year and letting him take the reins, especially since he was hurt last year and couldn't even really practice all that much as
Well, the
well.
problem is like they want to throw the ball a lot. Like JJ McCarthy can make the throws, but it's more of like a pro style S where they run the ball a lot. And unfortunately, Minnesota, not unfortunately, it's very fortunately, they've got Justin Jefferson, so you got to feed him the rock. So you got to have a guy who's going to go out there and sling it. And JJ might have all the tools, but that's never been what he's done.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. Then
Yeah.
that's why I said maybe the Aaron Rodgers approach was probably the best thing for JJ McCarthy in Minnesota.
But in this day and
So
age, they draft him too high to let him sit for that long.
I get it, I get it,
And
but
just Sam Darnold playing so good kind of forced their hand as well. If Sam Darnold plays a little worse and they don't win 13 games, where they win 14 games,
yeah, something like that.
if they win 12 instead, maybe they don't have to give Sam Darnold 45 million and they can give him 25 or 30. It was kind of like I said, I think the decision was made for them. Um, like obviously we all know obviously that they should have kept them, they would have been better, but could they have even afforded it? I don't know what their money situation was like anyway. So it's like that part I understand where they're going to sign him to a 3-4 year deal when they just drafted a guy number 9, and I just think they weren't in the position to make that decision.
Number 3, the 2025 New York Giants are the 2024 Chicago Bears.
No, I won't say that because I don't. I guess that one was coaching. Some bad throws by Dart, but Dart and Scatable, as much as I like Joseph Field or Caleb, Dart's been way more exciting than Caleb, and we had nothing like Scatable last year. And
I'm
they
talking
got a
about
good.
the fine. I'm talking about the way they keep finding
Oh
new
yes,
ways to lose
yes,
games, man.
craziness,
That's
yes.
just
Um, I don't like. I don't. There was just nothing like the way the Bears were losing was like a Hail Mary, and then like not calling a timeout, like just like crazy. Like this is just like a bad play calling.
the season's still young.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So we'll see. I guess they're on pace. But they got a winning record. I guess they're for the Bear. We were 4-2 too. So now the thing I keep forgetting, we started off so good last year.
Number 4, the Commanders will miss the playoffs 1 year following an NFC title game appearance.
I would say fact. I think. I mean, we're clearly better than them. I know Jaden played pretty good, but we we played bad in that game. I mean, the defense got a lot of turnovers, but we didn't have that good of a game, and we still pulled it out. But I think they had too many injuries. I think the league has kind of got a beat on what Jaden Daniels likes to do. Not to say that he still can't ball out and do very good things, but it seems like it's not working like it was last year. And they've got a little bit more talent. I know guys are banged up the last few games, but and now Jaden Daniels hurt, Debo's hurt, McLaurin's hurt. Are these guys when they do come back? I mean, clearly Jaden Daniels isn't fully healthy. Um, I think if they lose a couple more games, they might pack it in anyway.
Yeah, that NFC East, Philly, even Dallas big win on Sunday.
You don't want to play
Um,
Dallas. I mean, the people joke about Dallas a lot, but Dak is good, and
oh yeah,
they score 50 on anybody. So it's like you don't want to
CeeDee
get you.
Lamb and George
Yes,
Pickens
you don't want to like.
and
It's a scary
Williams,
game. That's a scary game to
Jake
be in. Like
Ferguson.
if they're playing good, they'll go march up and down the field on you, and there's nothing you can do. And Javonte Williams has been very good. I was talking about I wanted him in the offseason, but I think he's been a very good addition to the team. And like I said, I think Dak is slept on, and the Redskins saw firsthand, or Commanders. Like you don't want to be. They'll come out there and they'll shit on you. They were running, they were marching up and down on the field of them all game. Nothing you could do. And now that Dak's on, and Dak and Pickens the match made in heaven. Dak loves just throwing it up there.
Yep, absolutely. Number 5, Drake May is the best quarterback from last year's draft class.
Um, if I'm yes, based on right now, if I had to pick, I would have to say yeah. I mean, he's just like you said, he has looked great. I mean, they have been playing trash cans. I saw their schedule. I mean, they haven't had a good season, but they played like the. I don't think they played anybody with more than 2 wins.
Hey, you can only play who's on your schedule.
But he has looked great. He looks the part, big arm, mobile. He looks like Josh Allen to me. He hasn't had to run like Josh Allen has. He's a little more polished than Allen was early, but the Patriots need to get him some more weapons.
Absolutely. I completely agree. If they can get a number 1 wide receiver, look out. And they're everybody knows my opinion on Drake May. So I won't go any further. That question was kind of thrown in for me just to boost my own ego a little bit. Um, last one for Factor Cap. Mike McDaniel will be the hottest offensive coordinator prospect hire after he gets fired in Miami. Because he will get fired.
Who's getting fired?
Mike McDaniel.
Oh yeah.
He will be the hottest head coordinating prospect after he gets fired in Miami. Fact cap.
Um, I don't know. I don't. I would say Cap at this point. I think people think his genius is kind of fizzled out. Like maybe it was just like Waddle and Tyreek. And, like, I don't know. It's not working anymore. I mean,
Well,
Tua
they
is.
still they had Waddle and Tyreek and Tua this year, and it wasn't working.
That's
But
what I was
in
saying.
terms of
So I don't know.
maybe not as a head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, somebody's get.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to get a job. I don't know if he'll be the hottest commodity. I don't know if like somebody else, like you know how like you said, Al Harris will be probably a hot defensive back. I don't know who's what fucking quarterback coach or offensive coordinator after this season because it won't. I mean, he's losing all his sizzle, and it's only getting worse as the season goes on.
All right, Sean. Week 7 dog of the week. Who's your dog of the
Uh,
week?
uh, I have to say I'll go with Jamar Gibbs. We were talking about him during the game, and he won me my fantasy game. But like you were saying, yeah, I don't know if I agree with you that he's the best running back in the league. I think it's Bijan. But he's
Best
up
running back.
there, and Gibbs was, yeah. Like I don't look forward to having to play them. I hope he's hurt when we play.
My dog of the week this week goes to Bo Nix. Shout out Denver Broncos. 33 points in the fourth quarter. Bo Nix, 4 total touchdowns in the fourth quarter, 2 passing, 2 rushing. And all of this took place when there was 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, which is even more astounding the fact that they were able to pull this off. They didn't score until 8 minutes left to go in the fucking game. Bo Nix, absolutely ridiculous. Um, I don't know how you do that, but that's just amazing to me. 4 total touchdowns in the fourth quarter. That is my dog of the week this week. Before we close it out, Sean, of course, I want to know what everybody else's dog of the week is. So make sure you comment down below who your dog of the week is and why. But we talked about it. Now it's time to kind of, before this is the last segment here, trade deadline, right? Trade deadline is in about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. I have updated my fantasy trade targets, sir. So in terms of my number one, of course, we all know it's Max Crosby. If he's available, I know I was saying before the podcast started, you and I were talking, and there have been reports coming out that the Raiders met with Max Crosby and said they're not trading him. Everybody has a price.
Yes.
But Max Crosby is my number one fantasy trade target in terms of people who may be available. And I kind of updated a little bit because my number two has changed. With Tyreek Stevenson kind of getting banged up a little bit, the secondary in general is kind of getting banged up. Jalen Johnson, coming back second half of the season, whenever. My number two, if he's available, Ladarius Sneed. Tennessee is not having a good season. He just signed that extension, or he just signed a contract with Tennessee last year. I don't think it would take much to get Ladarius Sneed from Tennessee, but I think if you're going to look to shore up that cornerback position, even if Jalen does come back, Jalen's your one, and Ladarius Sneed is your two. You still have Kyler Gordon in the slot. That's a pretty goddamn good secondary, and I would much rather have, as good as Tyreek Stevenson's been playing, I'd rather have Ladarius Sneed as my second corner than I would over Tyreek Stevenson when Jalen Johnson does return. And even if he doesn't, you have a number one in, Ladarius Sneed, and you still have Tyreek Stevenson when healthy if he continues to play well. I just think it shores up a little bit what's going on. Number three for me is Trey Hendrickson. Now, I don't know if Cincinnati is going to trade Trey Hendrickson since they won last week, or they won on Sunday with Joe Flacco. Or no, it was last week because or Thursday. I don't know if they trade Trey Hendrickson if they feel like they have a shot at going to the playoffs when Joe Burrow comes back. So he's number three just because of the name and his production. Kayvon Thibodeau comes in at number four for me, just because what's the cost going to be? He's a young player. He's going to need to be extended. He's still on his rookie deal. But for me, it's all going to depend on what it's going to cost to give up Kayvon Thibodeau because he's definitely not worth a first. He's probably not worth a second round pick.
They're definitely not re-signing him either.
Yeah, so really, what's it going to cost me to get him? And then number 5, I have 5A, 5B, and 5C, and they're all from Miami. So Jalen Phillips, 5A, just because, edge, he's a young guy, rookie contract. The only running back on this list that I would trade for Miami would be, Devon Achane if he's available. And then kind of going into the cornerback position again, I got Rasul Douglas from Miami just because I think he's a good fit. Number 6 is another corner. I got Reek Woolen from Seattle. Again, this is just if we're talking about what we have on defense, and you said you feel good about the running back position. You know what I'm saying? Now let's kind of look at the edge and the cornerback position since the secondary is starting to get
I agree. I said last
corner.
week I think that we should have. If a corner's out there and it's reasonable, I think we should go out and get him. Jalen Johnson continues to get hurt every year.
Exactly. So Reek
can never have too many. I mean, Tyreek Stevenson can always be waiting in the wings. I mean, you get somebody like Tyreek Woolen, can he complain that he got his job taken? And he'll be playing a lot until then.
And Alante Taylor too. From the Saints.
Yeah.
He's on my list as well. I mean, it's coming up in a couple weeks, and we know Ryan Poles likes to be somewhat aggressive. He didn't do it last year, but he's been known to kind of make moves whenever he feels that's right for the team. And we talk about this all the time. Rookie deal for Caleb Williams right now. That's why you went out and you drafted him number 1 overall, was because you have him on a rookie deal and it allows you to make these kinds of moves. So they need to make some moves. That's my updated, fantasy target list in terms of trades. I feel like any one of these guys definitely would help the team, especially Max Crosby. I would be willing to give up whatever the Raiders want.
Yeah, I think whatever they want, like what Michael went for, we could do that for Max Crosby.
Absolutely.
I think if that's an option, we have to get him. We already let the Packers. Not only did we miss out on Michael, we let the Packers get him. We cannot, if Max Crosby moves, and I hear we didn't at least offer 2 firsts and a second, or 2 firsts and fucking Booker and whatever come at. Or I guess they wouldn't want a tight end, but whatever the fuck they wanted, I think we should be all in on getting Max Crosby. I think we should be most of the way in on getting somebody like Trey Anderson. I think I'm along the lines you're thinking that I don't think they go out to get Joe Flacco thinking that they're gonna throw the towel in on the season. So I think Henderson's not going anywhere, but we got to get somebody, albeit a corner. I really think we need some sort of defensive line help, though.
Yeah, there's not a big interior defensive line market out there right now. I think the one name that I saw floating around for interior defensive linemen, because Tennessee is not trading Jeffrey Simmons. That's one thing that they are very keen on. I know I just said everybody has a price, but Tennessee just seems like I don't know, they just fired their coach, so maybe. But the one name I am hearing is Shelby Harris from Cleveland. I don't know too much about Shelby Harris from Cleveland, so I didn't go into too much depth on it. But is he really, one of those guys that's gonna flip the script?
I'd be wary. I'd be wary of a guy like that too.
Is he better than the guys you have on the defensive line?
No, I just think he has good numbers because Garrett gets triple teamed.
Yeah, so I mean, realistically, I feel comfortable with my list. Like I said, I'd be okay with a move at corner, Ladarius Sneed, Alante Taylor, Rasul Douglas.
I didn't even think about Sneed. But yes, I'd be very happy if we ended up with somebody like Sneed.
Well, somebody like Sneed, I think you can get for a second, you've been trading. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to go for a first. You know what I'm saying? That's just, and I know it's
you did mention, and I thought you were when you said the Dolphins, Bradley Chubb.
I have him on my list too. He's number 7.
Okay, he was 7. I didn't.
Yeah, he was number 7. He was the next one that was going to be, because I know I talked about Miami, but Bradley Chubb just being a little bit older, I didn't want to include him with the young guys from Miami, but Bradley Chubb definitely was on my list as well. I think
coming to somewhere like Chicago on his last run, I think it might be a little bit of resurgence, and I think I'd be interested in getting somebody like that.
Well, he'll come cheap.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's what I'm saying.
Contract-wise, his contract here, because I think he signed for 2 years. But in terms of compensation, draft compensation that you're going to have to give up, you're probably looking like a 6th-round pick. Because you're going to get him for less than what you got Joe Thuney for.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's all I got for today.
All right. Well, like you said, comment your dog of the week in the comments. And like, follow, share, help us get some new subscribers, and we will see you guys next week, or hopefully after the fifth consecutive Bears win.
Bear
Adios.
down.